Thanks for staying with us. Prison reform is a concept often talked about but hard to see results. But within the past few months, there's been action to try to fix problems that permeate from county jails up to state prisons and even into the federal system. Just this week, that was made clear when President Biden signed a bill into law strengthening oversight of federal prisons. It establishes an independent person to field and investigate complaints and report results. The law requires the Justice Department inspect all 122 federal prison facilities and provide recommendations to address problems. That bipartisan legislation was sponsored by Georgia Representative Nikita Williams and the House and U.S. Senator Jon Ossoff, in part because of what they know is happening at the state and local level. We've reported 8 deaths at Central Georgia prisons in the past 2 months. That includes Macon State, Washington County, Telfair, and Wilcox. And inmates in Atlanta prisons have seen their fair share of poor conditions. But there are a handful of investigations in the works to find solutions to these problems. Governor Kemp said the state is helping facilitate a review of the Corrections Department, and the U.S. Justice Department is still trying to obtain records from the Corrections Department for its own investigation. For families with relatives on the other side, it can be all the more challenging to get answers when something happens. And that's true for the family of 27-year-old Zachary Olivar, who died in Johnson State Prison this month. Now, his family acknowledges his crimes, but also says he's more than a number. Fariha Abra talked to Olivar's family about their belief that more mental health care in prison could have saved Zachary's life and others.
Zachary Olivar's family moved to Georgia from Miami when he was a toddler. After graduating from high school in 2015, Zachary got his associates and finished his bachelor's degree in exercise science.
He had just finished his first grad course, get into chiropractor school, when the incident happened.
During a traffic stop in 2021, Zachary pulled out a gun and shot Jones County Deputy John Kyle. The deputy's bulletproof vest saved his life. Before the 2021 encounter, Zachary's parents say their son had episodes in 2019 and 2020. Doctors diagnosed him with a bipolar disorder and schizophrenia, and they called 911 for help on multiple occasions.
We were begging them, please, 1013 and put him in someplace safe.
A 1013 in Georgia initiates an involuntary mental health evaluation of a mentally ill person who presents a risk of harming themselves or people around them.
The police show up and they don't want to take him.
They told me they would not take him unless I filed criminal charges. Then my son is not a criminal. My son needs to be taken to the hospital. He's ill and he doesn't see that he's ill. They said no. They told Zach he had to leave the house and they left.
His mom, Regina Oliver, says he'd usually do that during his mental health episodes. And on the night he shot Deputy Kyle, Aunt Patricia Oliver Atkins says he was on his way to see her for help in Eatonton.
But I told him, I said, Zachary, I had just landed. I was at the Denver airport, and I was like, I am not home. I'm so sorry.
His family believes he got lost in central Georgia on his way down to see another relative in Florida when the shooting happened. Zachary drove off from Kyle, but with the help of other deputies, spikes in the road stopped him, and he was arrested.
99 times out of 100, they would have put 50 bullet holes in him. They did not.
In 2022, a judge sentenced Olivar to 20 years in prison for aggravated assault on a peace officer. In jail with mental health issues, his family believes he started self-medicating, and the deputy coroner told us he was found dead on a cell floor of the Johnson State Prison on July 16th. He was 27. His cellmate admitted that they were smoking strips to get high, which is rolled up paper with roach spray.
He won't make it through 20 years of this. I must stand in my faith and believe that he is of God and he is at peace and he is no longer suffering.
If we can do what we can to try to change this prison system so that somehow, some way the drugs are removed, the animosity between jailer and jailee is improved. We could do something to treat people humanely on both sides. You know, it would improve the situation.
Fariha Abrar, 13 WMAZ News.
The Olivars are in the process of preparing a celebration of life for Zachary. If you or a family member would like to share experiences about prison conditions in Central Georgia, send us an email to news@13wmaz.com and make sure to visit our More Than a Number page to share your loved one's story.